Hi guys, Dane here. I was just jumping on to look at the charts. Thought I'd do a quick market watch video. So like always, I always start on the weekly chart and take a look. We have our normal 1,000-day moving average and our red 200-week moving average that I usually always keep up. Taking a look at it, we're still kind of in where I believe is a good accumulation zone for myself, which is anytime we enter below the 1,000-day moving average to start accumulating. And then obviously anytime we drop below the 200-week moving average for me is a great time to back the truck up and load up. So just patiently watching. These yellow lines are the halvenings. So each time we have a halvening and when the next one's going to be. We can kind of see we always kind of bottom out between the two halvings on the Canadian chart, which this one is. And this is in Canadian dollars, which I usually do American dollars, but decided to switch it up a little bit. It doesn't go back as far. But taking a look right now, we're kind of in that middle zone. We're under the 1,000-day moving average. We're kind of halfway between the halvenings. So for me, it's just accumulation time. We had a little dip below the 200-week moving average here. I'm going to switch it to the daily. I'm just going to remove these, which is this one and no, this one and this one. And then, so this is our 1,000-day moving average and the 200-week moving average here. We can see we kind of bounced right off that 200-week moving average because I believe there's a lot of people that are watching that average and like to buy on it because we look back in the past and it's always kind of been a good a good buy. Like here we came down, kind of touched it. If this went further, you'd see that it kind of touches it. Another thing we can look at is the RSI. Let me go into indicators. Under my favorites, I have the RSI saved right there, relative strength index. Wants me to remove the volume indicator and add relative strength index. What's going on here? What else does it want me to remove? It's right down here. That's why. So we have our relative strength index in this. In simple terms, you could pretty much say anytime it's above this little dash line here, we are kind of overbought. There's too many people buying. It's rallying higher. Once it's below, I believe it's the 30 line, it's oversold. So more people are selling, it's oversold. Right now we're kind of in neither, kind of in the middle here. And this is again on the daily chart. I've got just a line of resistance drawn on the daily chart. We can see it's kind of making higher lows, or lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. We've kind of made it a double bottom right along this section right here, between these two. Kind of double bottom there. So that's something to think about too. Double bottoms are really common. Let me see here. You see we had a lot of bottom outs here, bottom out, bottom out. So I'll be watching for this over the summer to eventually break above this. The end of the year is right here, right there. That's the end of the year. So if we're lucky, it's going to bounce around in this area. I say this area all the way down here, because if we look in the past, let me switch back to the weekly. What is going on here? Back to the weekly. There we are. Going to change these moving averages back so they're for the weekly chart. Okay. If we do some measuring, so if we measure the top of this market, down, we're looking about 80% drop. This means we've seen a 73. So let's say we get a 70% drop. This time around, we'd be looking around $50,000. Let me see, that's 71, so around $50,000 Canadian. So that's right down here. We can see there's lots of support here that if it does drop down, that would really make sense on when the buyers would step in. The thing with a 70% drop though is if we're buying right now, which in my opinion is a good time to buy, you still have to be prepared to stomach. So if we drop it down to $50,000, that's still like a 45% drop. Like, you have to be prepared to be able to stomach that if you are buying here. And in my opinion, like, I like to start accumulating under the 1,000-day moving average. But I can stomach those big drops. I've had them happen to me many times. At this point, I just know it's name of the game, and it means a bigger opportunity to load up. Taking a look at the RSI on the weekly here. You can see we always kind of bottom out halfway between the halvings, at least once. Historically, once each time we went below it, below the 30 line on the weekly. And it looks like we've already done that. So that happened kind of right here during this market, right in this area. And this one, it kind of was right here. So this one, it marked the bottom. This one, it didn't mark the bottom because we had FTX collapse right here, which then marked the bottom. But we can see there was bullish divergence. Let me move this up a bit, see if I can. We can see there's bullish divergence because we had our low and then it moved higher. Well, at the same time, we had where this made a low was right here, and then we made a lower low in price. So that was a pretty good giveaway to us that things were getting bullish. We take a look here now. We made a low, and we made a lower low on price. We made a low, we made a higher low. So we're kind of seeing the exact same thing as well. So the price is making a lower low while the indicator is making a higher low. Bullish divergence. We've seen that here. And if we go back, we may have even seen it over here. Let me see. It's pretty much kind of looks like it. I think we had bullish divergence here too. Price goes down. Indicator goes up. So if we're looking, we're trying to figure out where we are in this cycle. We could be there. I hope for anybody who's accumulating right now, we see lower prices. We see down to this $50,000 range. that'd be amazing for anybody accumulating. You'd be getting a 45% discount from right now, and it probably would not last for long. And yeah, there'd be there's a lot of opportunity there. But once again, this video is for entertainment and education only. This is not financial advice, because I am obviously not a financial advisor. I just like looking at the charts and sharing them, trying to make them simple and easy. So maybe one last thing we can look at now that we've looked at this RSI. What else we got on here that's nice? Bollinger Band, we won't worry about that. It's tightening up though. Look at our Gaussian channel. So every time it turns red, we're kind of in this area. We expect it to then drop down below the 1,000-day moving average. We've seen that here, we've seen that here. This time it dropped below the 1,000-day moving average before it turned red. So we'll watch that. Gaussian channel off. Indicator. The MACD, which is just a momentum oscillator. And we had a little momentum to the upside here. That's what the green is. Stochastic RSI. On the weekly, our momentum is moving down. Let's go higher. On the monthly, we can see we're kind of bottomed out with the stochastic RSI. It likes to stay down here. See what we're doing on the daily. You know, we shot up. We may be crossing over and head back down, or it could stay up there for an extended period of time. See if there's any other. Why don't we take a look at volume? I'll shut this down. Volume's important. Let's go to weekly. Getting close here. So the bigger the candle, the more the volume. Red is obviously bearish. Green is obviously bullish, or at least the price is going up. The price is going down. We can see whenever we get these bottoms, we get huge candles, huge volume candles. So let's watch. You know, if we see the volume spike up really high, kind of like this candle or this candle, both those weeks, you know, were great times. You know, a lot of people selling. Let me put on the 300-week moving average on this. We'll take a look at it. I can't remember if we talked about it at the beginning of the video, but if not, boom. There it is right there. It's currently around the 73,000. So we did see it come down and touch it this time. So, and actually, if this extended out, you would see that these wicks on this one actually touched it as well. So that's, I think that's all I'm going to leave it with. And yeah, I'm going to stop it here. It's been about 15 minutes. All right. Have a good day. Bye.